What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at this updated list for this water Utopia fish deck. So there's like the traditional fish route, which is like, you lock yourself into waters, which is fine. I may test that out, but I feel like this is a little more spicy, a little more fun. So we'll go ahead and take a look at it. So this is my Called by the Grave, or Cross-Out, not Called by the Grave, Cross-Out Designator package, kind of the same thing, right? So 2 Imperm, 2 Ash, 1 Effect Veiler, 1 Ghost Ogre, 1 Nibiru. I also run Forbidden Droplets and Dark Ruler no more. This is especially good with it. Forbidden Droplets, like, yeah, most of the time your opponent's probably going to throw a spell into the graveyard, but it's also just a good card in general, so you never know. I just like to play it. But, yeah, so, I mean, you also technically have, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hand traps, if you would play it normally. I do double up on Ash and Imperm because they are the most popular, hand traps ever, pretty much. So you definitely want to have you don't want to just, like, see this and then, like, have the Ash in your hand. Like, you want to at least have a statistical chance that the other one could be in the graveyard. That's, like, my thought process behind it. And it works out pretty well, all in all. And sometimes, like, you could probably, like, take this out and, like, maybe put in a different side deck card. It just kind of depends on, like, the matchup. But this is the lineup that I normally run with because, like I said, if you open them, you just get to use them. Also, you play cool cards like Zexal Construction. So if you are going first and you have something like a Nibiru in your hand and the Crossout Designator, because I've been there before, you can basically reveal it and put it back in the deck. That way you can, like, breathe easy or rest easy knowing that you can actually use the Crossout with it. So it's a pretty cool card. I run one Aqua Spear. I used to run multiples, but you have to give yourself a 0% chance to open 2 of them. And if you run 2, you're giving yourself a statistical chance. It's just a free extender. There's not a lot of good water extenders, and this is literally quite easily one of the best ones. But like I said, like, it doesn't really get you going because you can't normal summon it, which is really, really unfortunate. So it's a balanced card, but it works as a one of, the way that I play this deck. Okay, so we'll just keep going on here. 3 Buzzsaw Shark. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't run Tuna because you obviously have to normal summon it, and, like, you could theoretically special summon it, but you can't with Lantern Shark, so they would just mess up with each other. I tried to optimize this deck literally as much as humanly possible, and it's fine. Like, I just have more extenders now versus the Tunic card. But Buzzsaw Shark, obviously, you just have to play it in this deck. It's insane. It's a free special summon from the deck, doesn't lock you anything except Xyz, but you only run XYZ monsters, in your deck. Lantern Shark is cool because sometimes you'll have a free special summon with ZS Ascended Sage, and then you'll also have Tenyi Shithana in your hand, which is a great extender. But what you do is, like, you can just freely special summon the ZS, normal summon Lantern Shark to bring out Tenyi because it's just a water 4. It doesn't have to be a fish; it just literally has to be a water monster, which is amazing. So that's kind of my reasoning behind that. 3 Silent Angler, it's like the best card in the deck. It's crazy. Like, you can just you can either normal summon Lantern Shark or bring it out with Buzzsaw, and then you can actually, like, after it goes to the graveyard, I should say, you get to bring back White Mirror. You haven't used a special summon effect, so you get 2 monsters. You just get 2 free XYZ monsters with this card, so it's probably the best extender, like, ever. And then I talked about Shinthana. It's just a free special summon for a level or a water 4. Definitely necessary. Also, I love cards that you have multiples of. Like, you can just special summon the first one and normal summon the other one. There's no restrictions, right, in that sense. So that's the really good thing about it. This is it's unfortunate, right? There's not a lot of good fish monsters that don't lock you into water. So this is one of the better ones. You'll see, like, I'll have a replay out, like, maybe later tonight to showcase, like, the deck can be good. It's just if you special summon an XYZ monster, you can special summon it from your hand. And then you get to reattach, which could come up every once in a while. You never really know, especially if you have 2 in the graveyard. Yeah. I don't know. It's literally just an extender. You don't have to really worry too much about the attach part. I don't think I've ever even used that before. I used to have a few other ones, but you have to use it for, like, an XYZ. Some of them are just generic 4s. I'd rather give myself a better chance of going into another Bahamut Shark to Totally Awesome, because that just sets you up for success like no other. I run 1 ZS Armed Sage because I run 2 Zexals, and there's, like, a pretty high chance, right? If you have this card in your hand, like, you can, not a very high chance, but you never know, right? You're playing 2 of these. So basically, if you have this in your hand, you can use construction to grab ZS Arm Sage. So you get you 2 bodies without normal summoning. Is really what it comes down to. It's unfortunate that, you know, ZW cards are Boo Boo the Fool. There literally isn't one good one outside of Wind Pegasus, but you don't want that in your hand. So there's nothing good to search out. Maybe in the future, if there is, this card will become 10 times more insane because it helps you chain block with ZS Ascended Sage. But for now, it's just a free 4, because like even if you just special summon Chinthana, you get to freely special out ZS Arm Sage. So it's a pretty cool card. The ratios have been working pretty well for me, even if they are a little peculiar. And I talked about ZS Ascended Sage. It's a really good play starter. It's a free body. Gives you like direct access to your rank up Magic Force. So you won't have to go into your ZS Utopic Sage to find your card. Sometimes you can like actually use the ZS to overlay into Utopic Sage to bring out another one because you want to go into Utopic Future. But otherwise, like if you don't have a ton of extenders, which is just bound to happen because that's just how the game works, you can just go into Utopia too. Sometimes it's like a desperation play. But yeah, ZW Pegasus Twin Saber is one of the best cards in the deck. It also works well with Zexal Construction. Just that small percentage chance if you open this and you also have Construction, you can just reveal it and put it back in the deck, which is super important. I used to run this at 3, but then seeing multiple copies of it in your hand is like a really big bummer. So that's why I dropped it down to 2. It's almost like a 3rd copy of Arm Sage, almost. We talked about Droplet, talked about Dark Ruler, Triple Crossout. It's just very, you can extend through some stuff, and you'll see a few replays. I'll put them on my channel where it does work out, but you're going to want this, especially when it comes into Bureau. Depending on your hand, sometimes you can go into a totally awesome and summon 4, summon 5, and it's great. Like, it's really, really good because one of the best combos in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is Nibiru plus like Imperm or Nibiru plus Effect Veiler. With Totally Awesome, you can just tribute itself, so there won't be a target there. So the Nibiru is not going to go through. But otherwise, if your hand's not cracked, Crossout Designator can help you kind of fill in the gaps. It's actually not bad to draw Hyper Magic Utopia for. Sometimes it's a good thing. So it's just something that you search out a lot of the times, but if you see it in your opening, you're pretty okay with it. This is a new card, and it does backfire every once in a while. But the thing is like when I activate Product Prosperity, normally I banish 1 Bahamut Shark, 1 Totally Awesome, and usually Hard Earth. This card is specifically for like Eldritch and Trap decks. Or if you hard open the Pegasus and you can't get out of your hand, you can go into this too. But this just destroys Trap Eldritch. It's one of the best cards like in the game against it. They can't do anything about it. So yeah, Product Prosperity helps you also when you're going into game 3, which has been my biggest issue, finding your floodgates like anti-spell, because Dark Ruler no More obviously just kills you. There is like Dark Ruler no More is good with Crossout Designator, but it's also something that helps you statistically find some of your better cards going second, or perhaps find a Crossout Designator if you just kind of have this good hand, but you don't have a way to get to Toad early. White Mirror is just such a good card. Such a good card. It brings something back and adds, and I've talked about the interaction with Silent Angler, but otherwise it's just another body for follow-up. So many good things. And then, yeah, Zexal Construction. And onto the side deck. It is what it is. So 2 Cosmic Cyclone, a Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Lightning Storm. Pretty good against a lot of decks, of course. Anti-Spell Fragrance, evenly matched, I think is pretty good right now, and Summon Limit. Maybe you want to take out Lightning Storm and put in 2 extra Dark Ruler no More, because it's kind of like your only chance against some of those Punk Therion decks. And even match doesn't really do anything. I just refuse to lose to Trap Eldritch, so it's pretty much where this comes in. And these cards are good, like if your opponent's playing something like a stun deck, you just take out 3 of your Crossout, because they're more than likely not playing those hand traps, just playing for some trap cards. So you have 9 options to get rid of those cards and give yourself a better chance. Or you can play like something like Summon Limit, which I think is really good. Like, I like to get a little risky. I'll take out 1 Imperm, 1 Joyous Spring, and 1 Ghost Ogre, because it's kind of like, your opponent probably isn't playing that. And then you can put in 3 Summon Limit. Or you can put an Anti-Spell, just kind of depends what you're playing. But yeah, that's my side deck. Going on into the extra. Utopic Sage just gets you to Ascended Sage, but it's also pretty good for going into F0. Leo Utopia Ray is 2 negates on the board. Unfortunately, it doesn't negate from anywhere, but it is a permanent negate too. Also, you can't like imperm the effect to bring this out, but your opponent would have used imperm before then. But it's never bad to have a bonus effect. Also, the card art's really cool. Two totally awesome. Salmagrate Blaze Dragon, super low key, like MVP this deck. There's not a lot of good fours to help you go into Zeus. I play one of them. One of them being Utopia. Also, F-Zero is a pretty good Zeus target as well for 2 pops. So you have 2 different ways to get to 2-pop Zeus. But otherwise, like if you're going into a board where you just kind of need a wipe, Blaze Dragon can do that. Because if it would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can attach a material instead. So that's important. That's really important. Because sometimes your opponent will have these big attack monsters, but you got a battle, right, to go into Zeus. So this helps circumvent that. To do that. Or if your opponent has something like Chuchi, right? And they want to pop it, you can protect it one time, go into Zeus, and then, wipe your opponent's board. To either wipe it or, get a bunch of interaction, off the board, something like that. So this is like a must include in my opinion. Number S39, it goes with Utopia. I talked about F-Zero a whole bunch. Number 99 is always just really good. Hard Earth. If you don't know what this card does, basically, every card your opponent sets or special summons the turn that it summons, so during your opponent's turn, during the end phase, you just attach material and it's all banished. So if your opponent's playing Trap Eldritch, like I've been talking about a lot, they set 5, end phase, banish all the cards. So they can't do anything. And the only thing you have to worry about is like Cursed Eldlin, because Eldritch is like the only card in the deck that can beat you at that point. So if you have one negate for it, like a totally, then that's it. Number 39, it's good. Spell and Trap Negate. Zeus, and then double Bahamut Shark. So, yeah. You always want to go into double Bahamut Shark or double Toad, and then you can turn those into F-Zero. Because the thing is like going into game 1, your opponent more than likely, like I'd say 90% of the time, is not playing Dark Ruler in the opening. So when you trip it off the 2 Toad, you get your hand back, and then you get to just go into your plays otherwise. Because if you go into the rank 4 line first, you're not going to have a lot of follow-up. A lot of the times you're not going to be able to go into Toad and stuff, so it's good to go into, F-Zero plus 2 Toads, negate 2 times with Toad, bring 2 waters back, and then you have, your access to all your 4s. Like, you can bring back Buzzsaw Shark, and you can bring back Angler, because Buzzsaw plus Angler equals full combo for Utopia as well. So you'll still have that F-Zero on the board, and then you're going to go into all your Utopia stuff, giving yourself lots of monster negates and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, that's like a really in-depth version of this deck profile. Hopefully you can understand like where it comes from and like my ideology. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.